What's going on, everyone? John here from The Real Talk, back again with another video, and that is for my favorite films of 2018. Yes, 2018 has come and passed, guys. We're actually in 2019 right now, and it feels great to be in a brand new year, whole full year of new content for you guys. And trust me, The Real Talk is going to be stepping the pedal to the metal this year, so stay tuned, guys. A lot of fresh new content for you guys, also weekly content as well. For my first video of 2019, actually, obviously, it's going to be kind of a video that was supposed to be released last week, but I was just way too busy, the whole New Year's and the holidays and stuff like that. So you guys are getting it actually on the 1st, which is not bad, but still. So my favorite films of 2018, obviously, the title says it all. It's my personal favorite films of 2018. I'm not going to say it's the best films, best movies of 2018, because you know, that's a whole nother subject for me. For me, my favorites are the ones I enjoyed the most, the ones I rewatched, the ones I personally gained something from. I couldn't make a list of like what I think are technically, you know, the best films that were put out last year, or you know, that have the best filmmaking. But again, I want to do, this is, you know, our channel, and I feel like this one fits the most, like last year. Yes, I did do a video for 2017, so if you guys want to look at that or check that out, that's going to be in the description down below for you guys. So let's get into it, guys, and I'm going to start off with some honorable mentions. So that's 10, so 20 through 11, and those are Incredibles 2, Creed 2, Thoroughbreds, The Favorite, First Man, Won't You Be My Neighbor, Annihilation, A Star Is Born, Hereditary, Searching. Alright, so that was my 2311, and that could be somebody's top 10 list right there. That's how this year, literally, I was kind of thinking to myself, you know what, we haven't really had as much great movies as we did in 2017, but making this list was pretty hard, and like putting some of those films on the honorable mention side of things for me was hard, because I loved and adore some of these films, from their soundtrack to the performances to cinematography, anything. There's a lot of things for those movies that stand out to me, obviously, and they're great, they're fantastic. There was a lot of movies I didn't see too, so most likely if you had, you know, kind of expecting something, maybe I didn't see it. There was like 10 films that I wanted to see that, you know, everybody else pretty much saw, that I couldn't get a chance to see, so maybe it's there. If you guys have any questions, comment down below as well, and also comment what your guys' lists are, what your honorable mentions are too. I want to hear your thoughts, and if you guys are mad at me for leaving something off too, again, this is my personal list, so you know, don't get too mad at me, and I do want to hear you guys' list as well. So starting with number 10 is going to be interesting, because I know a lot of people are going to be up in arms, because this film technically comes out next year. It was slated to be released this year, but it got pushed back, and that is Under the Silver Lake. That's right, Under the Silver Lake comes in at number 10 for me, but I do understand a lot of people, hey, you know, it's going to be a 2019 release. So for those of you who are up in arms, I would switch Searching with this one. Searching would take its place. But with all that being said, Under Silver Lake takes my number 10 spot. And it's just, honestly, I was highly anticipated this film because of the director and the star, obviously. And just, it's an A24 film. For me, I love A24 films. They have a lot of hype, at least for me. And when I saw this film, it just gave me everything I wanted and everything I didn't know I wanted from this film. It's just a neo-noir film. It's a dark comedy as well. And it's kind of David Robert Mitchell's love letter to neo-noir films and classic films as well. It does have this twist, and I think that's what most critics are talking about. That's why I didn't like this movie, but I feel like, just like It Follows, this is the director's film, and you feel that you do definitely feel his sense of style in the film as well. And the performances are great. Andrew Garfield, I've been saying he should be nominated for everything, but he really brings his A game in this, and I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it. So Under the Silver Lake has to be my number 10. Going on with number 9 is
Officer, I love you.
Wait, what?
That's right, Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse takes my number 9 spot. And to be honest, this movie, like I said in my review, I do have a review for this, so if you guys want to check it out, link in the description down below. Like I said in my review, I wasn't anticipating this film. When I first heard about it, I was like, whatever, it's Sony trying to milk Spider-Man, you know, before they give it back to Marvel and stuff like that. They just trying to make this cartoon movie and stuff like that. But then the trailer came out, and I was like, alright, cool, I'm interested. But then a lot of early reviews and like a lot of it was 100% on Rotten Tomatoes and everything like that. So going into this film, I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And boy, man, this movie just blew my expectations out of the water, out of the roof, over the moon, whatever. Just this movie is so amazing, no pun intended. I loved everything about it. From Miles, I think it is Miles Morales' story and his character that, you know, carries this film. Obviously, you do have a bunch of other Spider people and stuff like that, but I feel like the anchor of the film is how emotional it is. Surprising, very emotional, and even to me, was very emotional in one point of the movie, one part of the movie. Don't want to give anything away, but for me, it got me. I'm like, oh my god, like I'm tearing up right now. But not only that, it's surprisingly emotional, but it's hilarious, and just the style and the animation style alone, I loved it. I can't wait to see this movie again. I can't wait to own it. And if you guys haven't checked it out, highly recommend it. Coming in at number 8 is.
When did you get Snapchat? What grade?
Fifth grade.
Fifth grade? What? Yo, see?
So I think it's funny that 8th grade took my number 8 spot. I didn't do this on purpose, but it just winded up number 8. But I love this movie. Everything from the performances, Bo Burnham's directorial debut, he just knocked it out of the park. Like, even though it is a female character, we've all been there. We've all been to, you know, through the awkwardness of growing up in 8th grade in specific, and trying to impress people, trying to be yourself, and, you know, maybe going on dates and stuff like that. It's just such a relatable movie, and he does it in such a unique way. And obviously, being a YouTuber, I can relate to some of the things as well. So just these different combinations of things that worked very well in this movie for me, and I kept thinking about it over and over again. And that's going to be something that I probably say with a lot of these movies, that all of these movies, number 1 through 10, they're in those spots for reasons, because these movies stuck with me. I kept thinking about them after I saw the movie. Everything from their soundtracks to the cinematography, from directing to performances, everything about these movies just stuck with me. And also, not only that, they, you know, hit me in some way, shape, or form emotionally. I connected to them personally. So yeah, that's that. And let's go on to number 7. So number 7 is.
Let's do this.
So American Animals is a movie that I was supposed to actually see with a group of my buddies. You guys know who you are, over here in Arc Like Hollywood. But we were having some dinner, and we kind of didn't know that, you know, we looked at the time, and it was cutting it close. Some of us weren't done eating, and we realized that Arc Like, they don't let you come in late, unfortunately. So I didn't catch it in theaters, but fun little story there because I haven't reviewed this movie as well. So, but once I got the Blu-ray, popped it in, this movie blew everything away for me. I didn't know what I was, you know, getting. I just seen the trailer like once. I kind of heard the premise here and there. I was hearing a lot of buzz about the performances, and just this movie, just everything from its story, the way it was crafted as well. The director did such an incredible job in blending this kind of documentary style with the film, this dramatic heist film, if you will. And just the characters, just everything about this, the tension, the thrill you feel in the commentary as well. It's just everything. It worked for me. I love Fight Club. Fight Club is one of my favorite films, and kind of gave me that vibe a little bit. And just these characters and what they go through and what they're trying to say, everything about this movie. And it was shot fantastically as well. And it's like, again, it's kind of blending a documentary with and this is based on true events too, so that's pretty cool. So everything just about this movie, I haven't really seen a movie like this before, or if not in a long time. And the performances, like I said, a lot of people were buzzing about Blake Jenner and damn, I'm forgetting the guy who plays Quicksilver's name, but Evan Peters as well, and those guys knock it out of the park. So if you guys haven't seen it, it was a smaller movie. I think it's the biggest underrated film of this year, so highly recommended. Please go check it out. So finally, coming in at number 6 is. That's right, guys. Avengers Infinity War takes my number 6 spot. And what else could I say about Avengers that hasn't been said before? This movie just came out. We were anticipating it ever since we saw Thanos at the post-credit scene of Avengers. And just, I think it just delivered on everything that I wanted and just more. This is just like a modern epic. I understand there's a lot of people saying Black Panther's better and stuff like that. I mean, Black Panther, looking at my list now, winded up in my 23rd spot. It was a great film, but for me, just the fact that you have, this was the 19th film in the MCU, just the fact that you have 18 films to go off of, with these characters well established, you finally have the main villain coming in and, you know, spoilers, and winning. It's just, I mean, we all know that the people who died and are coming back, but it's just so impactful. Alan Silvestri's score was amazing. Some of the cinematography was amazing. It's just, for me, like I said, it was a modern epic, and all these characters and 10 years of filmmaking come all leading up to this, and this year's Avengers Endgame as well. It's just, it was a perfect, almost a near perfect film for me, and you know, I just really enjoyed these other 5 movies more. And yeah, I know it's going to be a little bit higher in everybody's list. It might be somebody's #1 film of all time as well. I mean, of 2018. So there's that. So let's go on to my number 5, top 5 now, guys. Let's see what winded up in those spots. All right, before getting to my top 5 favorite films of 2018, we're going to quickly recap number 10 through 6. Those were Under the Silver Lake, Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse, 8th Grade, American Animals, and Avengers Infinity War. I kind of tripped up looking at my list. So those were 10 through 6. So let's start with my number 5, which was... So number 5 is Roma, and I'm so glad I saw this movie in theaters. I tried to see it at AFI Fest, but the theater got full, but I was lucky enough to see it at one of my local theaters here, and I'm so glad I did. This movie is beautiful to look at in your phone, the tablet, the TV screen, and of course the theaters as well. I wish everybody would have saw it in theaters, but we won't get into that. But Alfonso Cuarón just did an amazing job crafting the story of Cleo, and it's just amazing. From, again, visually stunning, the story, these characters, emotionally impactful too, and such a timely film as well. Just the things that he does with these characters and kind of the message that he's trying to portray. And just, you know, after this movie, I just wanted to go home and hug my mom, and I actually still want to see this film with my mom. So yeah, that was my number 5, which was Roma. So coming in at number 4 is...
Don't worry. We'll get her.
It's okay, Joe. It's okay.
That's right, this movie came out, I believe, in March or in April, somewhere around that time, and it winded up taking my number 4th spot. This movie was amazing. Everything from Joaquin's performance to the directing, to cinematography, everything. I saw Taxi Driver after this, and for the first time, and I automatically knew what everybody was talking about. Everybody was talking about, you know, this is this year's or a modern Taxi Driver and stuff like that. And you do understand some of the influences, but just, I think this is just a perfect film in its own right, in its own way of the way it tells the story with the character, and just everything about it, even the score as well, really hit me. Just after, like, I own this movie, I've already seen it once since I got it. I'm talking about it and thinking about it. I want to see it again. And if you guys haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. And just, I don't know, since I left the theaters, around when I saw it, it stayed with me. Still to this day stayed with me. Think about it every once in a while. That's why I love films, and I love those movies that stay with you. So You Were Never Really Here definitely did that, and again, highly recommend it. So coming in at my number 3 is...
What's going to happen to us?
I don't know.
That's right, number 3 goes to Paul Dano's directorial debut, Wildlife. And I ever since I knew that he was directing this movie, when I first saw the trailer, automatically this one was one of my most anticipated films of 2018, and I saw it and it delivered on every way. This movie, kind of like last year's my number 3 was Call Me By Your Name, just personally hit me on such an emotional level that, I don't know, it just resonated with me, and Paul Dano knocked it out of the park to going into these characters. That's what this movie does for me. Characters. Also the story as well, but just these characters stay with you. And like I said, for me, it's a personal film for me, and that's why I enjoyed it. I love it for that. And when I was walking out, I stayed in the theater. I was actually the only one in the theater watching the film, so I felt like it was literally Paul Dano was like, here John, here's this movie, you're gonna love it, this is for you. And I think that's why it just stayed with me. Can't wait to own it, can't wait, I'm dying to see this film again. I really am. Performances were incredible. Like, again, characters is what drives this film. Story as well. It's a period piece. I think it comes out in early or late 60s. But yeah, highly recommend it if you guys haven't checked that out. And yeah, Wildlife takes my number 3. So coming to nobody's surprise, if you guys know me, at number 2 is...
We get the idea. You're looking for your lost dog Spots. Does anybody know him?
I've lost all of my pride.
To the north, a long rickety causeway over a noxious sludge marsh leading to a radioactive landfill polluted by toxic chemical garbage. That's our destination.
Great.
Get ready to jump.
So for a long time, I was saying Isle of Dogs is still my favorite film of 2018, but there was one film that came out and just, you know, said, hey, Isle of Dogs, you know, you had your run, but now I'm going to take the number 1 spot. And to this day, it's still there of my favorite film of 2018, so we'll get to that. But Isle of Dogs obviously is directed by Wes Anderson. I wasn't expecting to love this movie as much as I did. Just these characters, the way that the animation is, and I know everybody's talking about Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse, and I would give it the edge, but I still at least want Isle of Dogs to get nominated for animation. Just the way they made this film, and just the love and passion that Wes Anderson had for these characters too. They're dogs, but they obviously have voices of some of our favorite stars, some of Wes Anderson's obviously regulars. But I don't know, what was it about this movie just really resonated with me. I love dogs and stuff like that. It's just the story is trying to tell, the messages it's trying to convey, and just everything. The music and score is great and fantastic as well. Just when I left the theater that day, I don't know, I was like, you know what, this movie's charming. It was emotional, just everything I expected from a film, this delivered and more. And to my surprise, I was expecting a great film because it's Wes Anderson, but I didn't expect this film to hit me the way it did, and I loved it. And if you guys haven't seen it, I have it, but if you guys haven't seen it, please go rent it or buy it. Please do yourself a huge favor and watch it. I know I'm like one of the only people praising this film, and it's probably everybody's in shock and stuff like that, but I don't know, it's my list and it's one of my favorite films of 2018. So we finally made it to number 1. My favorite film of 2018 is...
Yo, Stevie fucking insane.
That's right, a lot of people on this list actually was the directorial debut. Jonah Hill directs his first film, mid-90s, for A24, distributed by A24, I should say. And for me, just knocked it out of the park. Again, like I said in the midway through this video, these movies connected with me on a personal level. I got something out of it and I loved them, and this movie was everything that I just said and more. I love this film, from the soundtrack to the trailer. It was a great trailer, to the performances for some of these young kids that technically haven't really acted a lot. I thought some of them knocked it out of the park. And just the story and message, it's just a chill movie, but man, I love it. And I see myself in some of the characters, and just the story, just everything about this movie just hit me. And I know, again, a lot of people are going to be shocked, but I love this movie. I can't wait to watch it again. I'm going to own it on every version it comes out, DVD, VHS, whatever. I'm going to own this movie because I loved it that much. And like I said, just the characters, the story, and the soundtrack, everything. Just Jonah Hill knocked it out of the park, and I can't wait to see what he does next. And I really want to see this movie again. So alright guys, that was it for my favorite films of 2018. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let me know, sound off in the comment section down below. I know there's gonna be a riot down there or whatever, but also let me know your guys' lists. And again, happy new year, happy 2019. This year is gonna be great. I've been having great feeling about this year, guys, and hopefully you guys have been too. So yeah, here's to a whole gang of videos. Again, like I said, the Real Talk is going to be putting the pedal to the metal, so stay tuned for that. And if you guys want to follow me outside of YouTube, you guys can at the Real Talk, talk with 2Ks on Twitter and Instagram. Till next time, we'll catch you at the movies. Peace.